I'm Rónán Dunne, 23 years old, and we're in County Wicklow, Ireland. Irish riding terrain, it's usually wet and mucky, but yeah, wet, mucky, slippy and steep, but yeah, it's got pretty much mixture of everything, but usually quite difficult, I'd say, would be the main thing. Definitely our terrain with shape, I'd give you a good advantage. Like, it's usually steep and quite technical, and then obviously there's the exposure of roots and rocks, so I think usually when there's a technical race that's like mucky or tight in general, that's usually where I'd feel have an advantage. Maybe not the flat out dry tracks, that's kind of maybe a disadvantage, but yeah, that's kind of where we get the main advantage from. Definitely the muck. I think you get to learn to ride it really, because it's all we ride, so yeah, you may as well get to know how to use it. I think nowadays, like, definitely if you're a young lad who grew up at a bike park, you're definitely going to ride the bike park, not really go and ride the horrible tracks, while we usually just have those tough technical tracks, so we kind of just suck it up and ride them. We do have bike parks and we do have like flow tracks, but usually the steep and hard ones are usually the most fun. Yeah, so I live on a horse farm. My family breeds race horses, and yeah, it's pretty sweet setup. My dad's also a vet, and we have a veterinary clinic here, so just kind of always growing up around animals and different animals coming in, like cows and sheep for the vets, and then also with our own horses, just growing up around them. Definitely still always kind of preferred bikes and anything mechanical, I suppose, motorbikes as well. But yeah, still love the animals. I used to ride horses when I was younger. It was definitely nothing. Yeah, used to ride horses when younger, barely, but it was more just because we were always brought up doing it. But I think, yeah, always kind of headed towards the bike way. Yeah, definitely like working. I think at everyone like who races definitely started when you're young, and definitely didn't have like the best years when I was younger, just because I don't know, wasn't as fast as other kids. And then yeah, in the past, I think 2021 was my first year kind of racing abroad, and that's kind of where it kind of clicked for me, and I think people started to know who I was then. I think like any parents, they're obviously a bit concerned when you're like, oh, I want to be a professional mountain biker, and they're kind of like, yeah, sure. Because in Ireland, there's not many professional athletes, and it's not really, I don't know, it's not really taught, I suppose, like, or not taught, but kind of go chase your dreams. It's more go to college, get a job, and crack on. And yeah, when I told them I was kind of, not really going to continue on with school and not go to college anymore, they were definitely weren't the keenest on that idea. I think fair enough. But yeah, I think when I started doing well and they seen that obviously I could actually make a living from this, and yeah, I think they were pretty supportive then. But they were always supportive from being a kid. They always supported me all the way until I got my first factory deal. And yeah, so they, even though they were always a bit hesitant, they supported me 100%. So it was I think a good combo as well. I think my first World Cup podium in 2022, that would have been kind of a moment I was like, yeah, definitely thought I could crack it really. And I had a few good results before then, but until you kind of get on a podium, then they don't really mean much until then. When I got a World Cup win, I definitely knew I could get one, and like, not expecting it, but I knew it could happen. While that first podium, I definitely didn't expect it, so that kind of made it so good. I think that kind of moment when you're kind of in that flow states, you're not really that conscious, I suppose, when it's actually going on. That's when you're kind of on the perfect run, and that's kind of the best moment. But then also just like riding for the crack, that's really, just being on that kind of edge of crashing and then of the enjoyment. That's I think that's the best thing. It's just kind of, you never know when you're going to crash, or it's just, it's pretty sweet. But yeah, you kind of just switch off and just kind of focus on the job ahead. But yeah, you kind of hope your mind just turns off, and then that's kind of when you ride your best, is when you're not really conscious, I suppose. Flow state is what they call it, and that's kind of, it doesn't happen every run, but when it does, that's kind of, you're on for a good one. You only kind of notice it when you cross the line, and then you kind of snap back into reality. That's when you notice it really, but till then it's more of just it's just kind of it's a feeling really. You don't really think about it when you're doing, because if you do start to think, that's when you snap out of it, I suppose. Definitely as I get older and a bit more experience, I'm a bit more technical now and a bit more picky on my stuff. So yeah, I'd like to say I'm a technical rider now with like my bike setup, and just getting a little bit wiser, I suppose, and knowing what certain things actually do to the bike. While previous years I didn't really care and just wanted to ride my bike. Well, still similar now, but I just pay a bit more attention. I'd say in the last 5 or 6 years, the scene has kind of blown up here. Yeah, like obviously it's not as big as some countries like Canada and stuff, obviously just because population and mountains. But yeah, I think in recent times the sport has definitely grown hugely around here, and it's just become, yeah, it's become like a pretty sick sport. Obviously, it's still not, I suppose, gives the same attention compared to rugby or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely growing pretty big around here. And obviously the spots we have to ride is every year new spots pop up and there's new locations and so many new kids come up riding. So yeah, I think the scene's definitely got a lot bigger. Yeah, I definitely think it's cool to represent Ireland. Like for the younger generation, I think when I was growing up, we had like Greg Callahan, Dan Wolf, and like Gab Carroll to like look up to, like those kind of OG like mountain bikers. And then, but we didn't really have any World Cup riders winning races. So yeah, to be, I suppose, yeah, the most successful Irish rider in history is kind of pretty cool feeling, and my career has kind of only started, so it's definitely sick to, like, I suppose, yeah, just show them it's possible really with what we've got, even though what we've got is more than enough. But I think a lot of kids would doubt themselves because we don't have chair lifts or we don't have big mountains. But yeah, I think there's more, we've got more, yeah, got plenty of what we can do. I don't know, just someone who enjoyed riding their bike, really. That's kind of, I think that's the main reason any of us do it. Like, obviously we get paid, but the main thing is just, I just enjoy riding my bike. I think you could make more money doing other things than riding a bike. And yeah, it's not a sport you get into for money. It's just, it's not like a football player or F1 driver where they're getting paid millions. It's more just, you just enjoy riding your bike, and that's kind of, yeah, that's the main thing.